Got it.
All right, aloha, friends. Game time with the Goss is back, ready for the new school year, and I am happy and honored to be joined by one of my good friends, Christina Rudiger, the new head coach, volleyball coach for Bridgeport High School, and longtime DFW volleyball guru in the sport. Ever since her days of playing volleyball herself at UTA. Coach, you've been in the sport for 30 plus years. Who's the best player you've ever seen?
Oh my goodness. Of course, I was coaching club when Stacy Sikora was at Burleson. As far as players that I've coached, I was blessed to have some excellent players at Keller Central. I had the Mahoney sisters. Kelsey was the oldest and Kaylin was the youngest, and they were both setters. Kaylin went on and played at Tennessee, or Kelsey went on and played at Tennessee, and Kaylin went on and played at Cincinnati, and then transferred. I can't remember where she transferred to. Also on that team had Whitney Little, who was a 6'4" middle blocker, who went on to play at Missouri, and had Alicia Wilson, who was a 6'1" middle blocker, who went on to play at NC State. So had some really nice players there. Rachel Dixon is one that comes to mind from Kennedale, very good player that I had there. Gosh, I'm old. I've coached a lot of kids. I'm at Boswell, had some really nice players too. When I was assistant there, we had Jordan Makeda, Lauren Tolbert, Emily Alliong, just some real nice, consistent players, played well together. So I've been blessed to get to work with a lot of great kids and have a few great players in there as well.
Yeah, I mean, you've the last 5 years you were an assistant at Boswell. Before that, 20 plus years as head coach. I know. Try to help me run down the list. I know Brewer and Kennedale Central. I think Weatherford.
Yep. Okay. So if I go chronologically, I was 2 years at Trinity Valley in Fort Worth. That was my first job out of college. Then I spent 1 year as the graduate assistant at Texas Woman's University. The next 3 seasons I spent as the head coach at Louisiana Tech University. Then I went to Willis, Texas, and was the head volleyball coach, JV basketball and JV softball at Willis. In January of 2000, I moved back home to become the first assistant at TCU. That was 2002 when I opened Mansfield Summit.
Right.
And then in the fall of 2003, I opened Keller Central. And 2011 went to Weatherford for 1 year. 2012, 2013 school years, I was at Kennedale. And then in the 2014 year, I went to Brewer. And 2018, I went to Boswell.
So 2002, you're sharing your opening summit with Sam Morrill.
Correct.
Yeah. And I don't know if you guys knew each other then, but you guys can share the same story, having beaten cancer, and you guys both summit. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, the 5 years at Boswell, and obviously Boswell, at least in my time here, has been one of the top volleyball teams in Tarrant County. Just what will you take away from Boswell, and what will you miss? I know you'll miss the Hawaii trips, but what will you miss?
Getting to see the Gosset family, I'll miss that.
Yeah. What will you miss about Boswell?
What's that?
What will you miss about Boswell?
As a coaching staff, we got along really well. I'm happy to say that Coach Lopez and Coach Seguin and Coach Mitchell, we had a very good working relationship. We had a great time working together. And there was a lot of mutual respect among us as far as our coaching experience and knowledge and ability to train kids. So I'll miss that. I'll miss those relationships that we had as a coaching staff. And the kids were excellent. They worked hard. They wanted to be the best they could be. And so I'll miss that as well. I'm excited, and I'll miss some friends. I made some great friends on that faculty there and administration. So I'll miss a lot of the people at Boswell. So I know there's kids at every school, so we'll form new relationships here at Bridgeport. But yeah, I'll miss my friends at Bos for sure.
We're talking with new Bridgeport head volleyball coach Christina Rudiger. Last time you were head coach, 2017 with Brewer. Again, 5 years an assistant with Boswell. Why go back to being a head coach, and why Bridgeport?
I love being a head coach. Being an assistant came at a time in my life when my family needed me. And to be an assistant for the past 5 years has been great. Coach Lopez was very kind and generous. If my family needed me, then he was absolutely family first. And so now is a good time in my life and for my family that I can go back to being a head coach. Why Bridgeport? I'm very familiar with the community. Back 14 years ago, I would come up here and do private lessons or team camps when Coach Larson, who's currently at Crum, when she was the coach here. So I'd run her team camp and work with her kids in the summer. And then when Coach Cummings took over after Coach Larson left, she kept me on. So I knew the community, I knew the kids, I knew what type of people and environment this was. And so the opportunity to come back to this, it reminded me a lot of my time at Willis, smaller town, involved parents, involved community, supportive community. So I'm looking very much forward to that.
Yeah, I mean, you were kind of hired, kind of late in the game, only a couple at the end of May, I think. So
Uh-huh.
getting through those camps and whatever, all those other things, it's probably been kind of busy and hectic. But what was that first month like? Did you have to meet the parents, the kids? Did you have to, what did you have to change this? I'm sure the schedule was kind of already set for you, or did you have to make changes to the schedule?
It's been a whirlwind. I got hired May 27th was the day I was board approved. I actually got to meet the kids the week before because we were trying to get to them before school let out. I did not have an all skills camp this summer just because of the late date and trying to promote it and get everybody signed up. But the only thing done on the schedule was, fortunately, those coaches that hosted tournaments that Bridgeport played in last year held a spot for us. So I didn't have to fill any tournaments, but I had to fill everything else. There were a couple of games. I think Paradise was already set. I think there were one or two matches besides the district schedule that were already set. So I've had to do a lot of schedule work. The inventory hadn't been done. Nothing had been ordered. So I had to go through equipment. I had to get an order ready. What else? We disbanded our large booster club and have gone to separate booster clubs. So we have been in the process of doing that and setting up our individual volleyball booster club. Of course, social media passwords and platforms changing, and it's been a whirlwind.
Yeah, I mean, since you've been in the sport for so long, I mean, can you already see? And I know you're trying to build or bring back a culture to Bridgeport volleyball, or build it, however you want to say it. But can you already see it being kind of a little more elevated already in these last couple months, just because you got there?
The kids are wonderful. They're hungry. They haven't had a lot of consistency over the past few years, and so they're hungry to learn. They've been very receptive, very polite, um, very hardworking. The ones that are coming for the skills training and the conditioning practices, they're doing a great job. They're very polite. Yes, ma'am. I can't ask for a greater group of kids because they're like kids. They want to belong. They want to be loved. They want to know their value, but they want to be better. And so, yeah, I'm excited about what we can accomplish because the kids, no doubt, want to be better.
And yeah, I mean, it's been, I think, the last decade, Bridgeport's made the playoffs maybe a couple times. I think their last playoff win, 2011. I know playoffs is always one of the first goals for every team entering the season, but if you guys didn't make the playoffs, what's something that you want to accomplish where you say or the community says that this season was a success?
Yeah, I think a lot of things. We know Rome wasn't built in a day. And so we know that we're not going to just flip our record around from what it was last year. And I told the kids that we're going to work hard. If we can't out physical somebody, then we're going to outwork people. We're going to play the game right. We're going to play the way it's supposed to be played. But you have to put yourself in a position to win before you can win. So if you're losing matches 25-7, 25-10, 25-15, you're not really in a position to win. We've got to get 18, 20, 22 points. We've got to push that point total so that we can get closer to being able to finish out a set and a match. And so as far as measuring success, we're going to measure ourselves in how we play the game, how we work, how we prepare. And you've got to play it right. You've got to play the game the right way. You've got to be close and in that position. And once you can get yourself in that position consistently, that's when you learn to kick the door down. That's when you can learn how to finish those sets and finish those matches. And so I would think that I would hope that our community and our parents and our administration would measure our success in not where we started, but where we finished. Was the product on the court better in November or October than it was in August? Are we being positive contributors to the community? Are we giving back? Are we honoring the people in our community the way they need to be honored? Are we being good citizens? So I think all of those things, with me, it's not just about what you do on the court. It's being that well-rounded person and what do you bring to the table to your team, but also to your school and your community.
Talking with Christina Rudiger, head volleyball coach, Bridgeport High School. Are you a fan of sand volleyball?
I love it. I have a lot of respect for sand volleyball. It is tough to play.
I know TAPS has a sand tournament in June.
Mm-hmm.
SBC, you said you coached at Trinity Valley. They actually won, I think, the boys indoor state championship last fall.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. But in terms of sand and boys indoor, I mean, what do you think we'll see first in the UIL?
Ooh, that's a tough one. That I don't know, to be honest. I really don't know. I would love to see Texas have boys volleyball because I think there are some people that want to play it. But I don't know what we see
Why do you think
first.
we haven't seen boys yet? Why do you think no boys yet?
That's a great question. I think a lot of people say because football is so big, that we won't see it. But I think the two can coexist. So I don't know what the real reason is for it, unless it's a facilities issue. Because if you play girls in the fall and boys in the spring, then is it a facilities issue because you've got basketball going on? I really don't know. I haven't been involved in any of the discussions or any of the think tanks about should we have it, should we not have it. As far as what comes first, I almost would think sand would come before, especially with the growth of sand volleyball at the collegiate level. So I think that's probably what we would see first before we would see boys added.
Again, you're a UTA Maverick, and you had much success there playing. I think you guys even the first time went to the NCAA tournament, or even I think Final Four, was it?
Final Four in 1989. So we won our conference all 4 years that I played. Had great teammates. In 1988, we went to regionals every year, but in 1988 we lost to the University of Texas, who won the Division I championship that year. And we lost to them in the regional final. And then in 89, we beat Texas in the regional final to go to the Final Four in Honolulu, Hawaii. So, yes, it was a great year.
Janine Smith was at Texas?
Yes.
So you went 1-1 against her?
I know we played, I think, during season 2, not just regionals. I'd have to go back and look to
'Cause
see how many times.
I think that '88 year is when they beat Hawaii in the final when Texas did.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Yeah.
But did you
Yep.
so you played in Hawaii, did you ever play did you actually ever play UH?
Um, I don't, not at the Final Four because they got beat. Uh, Long Beach beat them. I think it was Long Beach that beat Hawaii that year. Hawaii was favored and got beat out, so they didn't get to play their Final Four at home.
So you still keep up with UTA volleyball and see how they're doing all these years later?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. Again, here with Bridgeport volleyball coach Christina Rudiger. I can't even remember rally scoring. Growing up in the late '90s and watching UH rally scoring, and is that something that you could see coming back? Or are we
I
done with
don't think
rally
so.
scoring?
I, I think we're done with rally scoring. The big push behind it was to make the game ready for TV. People didn't understand why you didn't get a point if you won the rally. So for the general population to try to get them to watch volleyball on television, they had to understand the scoring. So side outs, we're in rally scoring. Side out scoring, you only scored if you served. So in rally scoring, you score every time. So that's much easier for people to understand, oh, they got the point because they won the rally, regardless of who served. So yeah, I don't think we'll go back to
Yeah,
side out
side out.
scoring.
Side out, right? Is
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
And it probably
Side out was point only when you served.
and it made the game, shorter. Or not
I remember
what we have now
it
has made the game shorter.
yeah, a little bit. Some statistics will say, I think some research when they first started, when they were talking about going to it from side out scoring, it was going to speed it up a little, not significantly. I don't think, not like what baseball's done with their
Yeah.
pitching clock. But I think, I think it's a lot better. I like rally scoring better. And I think it rewards defense. I think it rewards tough play. So I like it for that reason. I think it has opened up our game and made it more multidimensional. So I'm a fan.
Awesome. And so I'll get you out on this. What's kind of the upcoming schedule? I think the week of August 8th is when we can officially start counting wins and losses.
Correct.
What's it look like for you? Who do you open up the season with? Who are some tournaments you have this year?
We are, I'm still looking for a couple of dates. We will open our first match on the 8th will be against Grayford here at home. Our varsity's playing in tournaments at Burke, Burnett, Glen Rose, and Godley. Our sub-varsity teams are playing tournaments at Godley and Chico. I think, yep, Godley and Chico. So that's what we've got going on. Still have a couple open dates, when other teams we're a 6-team district, so we have a few more extra dates than some people. So I think the open dates that I have will come at a good time where we might need that mental break or a couple of extra days of practice just to go over what we've struggled with. So of course, we're in a very tough district. Much respect for the opponents in our district with Decatur and Crum and Springtown, Castleberry and Lake Worth. So I know that they play good volleyball in this district. So I'm looking forward to that challenge. But, just like I told the kids, that you don't get better by playing weak teams. So we want to schedule tough. We want to play tough people because that's going to prepare us for district, but that's also going to make us better. So I'm looking forward to the year.
So now till the next few weeks, so you guys are doing tryouts and training camp. Have you figured out?
What's that?
Have you already figured out your teams yet, or is this next 3 weeks is when you'll do that?
We'll start that on the 31st. I've had at skills sessions, I've had anywhere from 6 to 12 kids come. People are on vacation, people are working, things like that. So I haven't seen all of the kids in the program in the same place. And we'll have team camp next week on Thursday and Friday. So for the kids to get the opportunity to come in, be together, knock the rust off a little bit. With Coach Sandy Trout's going to run team camp for me. So she'll come in and work the kids out a little bit, and then we'll start tryouts on July 31st.
Awesome. Well, thank you for joining me. It's always great to see you and talk to you. And I wish you nothing but the best there at Bridgeport.
Thank you.
I'll have to maybe go to the Glen Rose tournament or go to some district games.
That would be great.
Yeah, just wish you the best of luck, and thanks again for joining me.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you for asking. It's a pleasure to be here. You're one of my favorites, and anything I can do with you, visit with you, I love and look forward to. So thank you.
Awesome. That's Bridgeport head volleyball coach Christina Rudiger, and thanks for joining me on Game Time with the GOSS. We look forward to seeing you again, and aloha, friends.